Welcome back, government students. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. Before we get into our material for today, just want to hit a couple of reminders first. The work that has been due, first off, we have 3 classworks, 2 homeworks, and then the assessments or exams from last week. Remember, exam number 1 was the research into a country's government, and then 1B was the presentation of that information that you found. All right, and a lot of you guys found some cool information about some various countries from around the world. This is our kind of opportunity to start applying some of the knowledge we've gained, and kind of studying and seeing how different government structures are constructed in the world. Okay, remember, a lot of what we're going to be talking about in this semester is focused on the United States government, but that gives you a good point of comparison when we start talking about how the government structure in the U.S. is made up. Okay, so one note also: this Monday and Tuesday are going to be the first live days for blended groups. What this means is that my responses might be a little bit more delayed on those live instruction days. I'm teaching 4 sections in person. So if you have comments on documents that are waiting for me to respond to, if you shoot me an email, it might take a little bit more time just because I will be teaching groups live in person. So let's try to be a little bit flexible when the blended groups are actually in the school. So we'll get started today with our aim and do now. Okay, so aim, we've got how can we identify the main themes of the Declaration of Independence through a close reading. So we're going to be looking into the Declaration of Independence today. One of the more foundational documents we have for the U.S. government. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the Declaration of Independence today through a close reading, and we're really trying to identify what are some themes that we can pick up from this document. What are some concepts, some ideas that are really kind of setting the stage for where American government is trying to go. So our do now, what are 2 main reasons the American colonists desired freedom from Britain? And I'm going to underline this a couple of times. This is a review question. We learned this last year in U.S. history. Try your best to come up with a reason or 2 of why colonists want their freedom. Why are colonists so disgusted with British rule that they demand their freedom in the Declaration of Independence? So pause the video, try to come up with a couple of those reasons from last year. You can plug it in on your document. Okay, so a little bit of background before we actually get to the excerpts from the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Second Continental Congress, Philadelphia, on July 4th, 1776. That's why we celebrate July 4th nowadays as well. Okay, the document announced that the 13 American colonies were at war with the Kingdom of Britain, and the colonies regarded themselves as a newly independent nation. All right, remember that we talked about this a lot last year in U.S. A lot of times the title tells you a lot about something. So the Declaration of Independence, the colonists name it what it is. They're declaring their independence from the British. We talked about it last year. The British aren't just going to allow that independence to exist. They are going to return this request by engaging in a war. Okay. Now, looking at the document itself, the document has 4 main parts. Okay, and we're going to be looking at these various parts today. It has an introduction, a preamble that outlines the general philosophy of the government, an indictment or list of charges or grievances. All right, this is kind of like the complaints section, and then finally a denunciation, which made their case for independence. So the structure of the Declaration of Independence is very clear. it articulates the colonists' viewpoints, and it lays out why they are taking these actions. All right. One of the things that the Declaration of Independence is so well regarded for is the fact that they don't just break away with no reason. It's not like they end this relationship for no reason. The Declaration of Independence makes it very clear why the colonists are taking these actions. Okay, so today we're trying to figure out what are those actions, why are they being taken, and how does this kind of align with the theories and ideas of government we've been studying so far. Okay, so I'm going to take a break to look at the actual document we have, and you'll see that it's broken up into 3 sections. So we have on page 1 excerpts for the preamble. On page 2, you have excerpts from the grievances, and then page 2 at the end, you also have the denunciation or kind of the statement of actions. Okay, so what you're doing is you're using a close reading. All right, and I've broken up the questions to match up with these sections of text. All right, remember when we are responding to this, we want to look at the question first. All right, we can do a sentence starter next. Then we're actually going to the text itself. And then 4, you're plugging in the answer afterwards. Document analysis steps are the same that we have been using since last year, really. Okay, so once you finish working out the various sections of this Declaration of Independence, we're just going to be concluding with a summary task found at the end. And it's a 3-2-1, which we have done before. So once again, for each question, you're responding in complete and detailed sentences. First question is, what are 3 reasons for colonists declaring their independence? Remember, there's a whole section that is devoted to the colonists' grievances or complaints. That's a great place to look. What are 2 themes found within the document? And remember, when we talk about themes, these are overarching ideas or concepts. So when we talk about themes, all right, we're talking about big ideas. What are some of those big ideas that keep kind of popping up throughout this document? All right, and I want you guys to really think about what is a theme that we see in all of the sections that we have read. And then the last question, does this document reflect the ideas of Hobbes, Locke, or Montesquieu in your opinion, and why? So you're choosing one of those philosophers we studied previously, and you're trying to make that clear connection, all right? This philosopher's ideas are seen in the Declaration of Independence because, all right, the why is really where we're getting credit here. You need to explain that connection, make it a clear point for why you are choosing that philosopher. As always, if you have questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. As I said, Monday and Tuesday, response might be a little slow just because I'm teaching live in person, but I will try my best to get back to everyone in a timely manner. Hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you soon.